Now, we have been joined by Danish Kazi, geopolitical analyst from Dubai, to discuss the US-Iran tensions over the Strait of Hormuz. Welcome to Pakistan TV, sir. And diving right in, we are seeing that there has been a statement by US President saying that he would soon announce that the Strait of Hormuz is part of US territory. And of course, there is a counter statement from Iran. They are denying that the Strait of Hormuz will always stay Iranian, and its opening and closure will also be decided by Iran. In your view, how critical is this with regards to the overall situation between the US and Iran?
Thank you so much for taking me on the call. See, the situation is going into a stalemate. Like I earlier mentioned, that both parties are trying to flex in and trying to buy time. Now, what is happening is, if you see every few days, you are seeing or hearing something new coming out as a core condition for reaching a peace, right? Last time it was you release the funds. Today, I think what President Trump has done is that I'm sure that he's not getting his convincing answer from Iran. And after the recent some issues which has happened to him about the news about certain imminent attack with the Iranians whilst he was in the aircraft, he's trying to show strong. He's trying to create some leverage for himself, and that's why this announcement has come in. Now, the unfortunate part is that any military strategy, it is very critical to have an end goal. I don't think that Americans ever had an end goal unless this was the plan from the outset. And now what President Trump is trying to do, as I said earlier, he's trying to make sure that he closes the Strait of Hormuz as long as possible. So there are economic implications on Iran, so that he can squeeze them into agreeing to his terms and conditions. And Iranians on the other side know that there's a midterm elections coming up very soon, and Trump is also under pressure to find a way to get out of this whole problem. So I think one more thing, which in my opinion, what Trump is trying to do is that maybe he's not getting the right cooperation from the GCC countries to become part of his endeavor. And that's why he's also trying to say this so that he can get more of them to join him to conduct this operation. Because as we can see that more and more GCC countries are losing confidence in the Americans, and the result of which is that some of the countries are asking the US to leave as a precondition. And you can see there are new pacts happening like the Saudi, Turkey, Pakistan pact, and more are being heard. So I think Trump is trying to flex his muscles to give a message both to the GCC countries and to Iranians that if you guys don't cooperate and the way I want to get an outcome out of this, then I will be controlling the Strait of Hormuz, and it will be I'll be a permanent player in this region, and you'll have to cater with it. That's my opinion on this one.
Right. Mr. Danish, how do you see this overall scenario with regards to international law? Because we do see that the UN Charter and the international law has been blown out of the water with regards to the Gaza situation, with regards to the Russia-Ukraine situation, with regards to how Israel, what it is doing in Lebanon. With all of that being said, with the announcement that they can, the Strait of Hormuz would be a part of US territory, how do you see that with international law? Or does that not exist anymore?
Very good question, actually. And sadly, where is United Nations in all this, right? They're gone. Where is the chief of United Nations talking about this, countering these threats? That how can any country which has nothing to do with this region is just threatening not only Iran but the GCC and the rest of the world that I will just come and capture this place. So it's uncalled for. I see this as a weakness of United Nations. They should intervene and kind of counter these kind of for narratives. We have seen UN to be a weaker body in the last many years, especially what we have seen in Gaza, what we have seen in the Middle East crisis. They are non-existent, as if Middle East or GCC are not part of their domain in the first place. So I think this is the whole reason why the GCC countries are looking to create their own alliances. And unfortunately, what has happened in the last many months or years since the new presidency has come in, uh, that they have no regard for the international conventions, UN laws, and at the same time, we have seen UN to be, and I would blame UN for this because they have proven themselves to be a weaker player. That even in time of Gaza, they were non-existent. There were just only statements coming in or relief efforts going out. So I think UN would have to see their own particular premise, how strong they would want to be presented. Are they even interested in this region? And that is why the local alliances are becoming so important that I would see in the very future that GCC and the Middle Eastern countries would, and that's what we have seen as a start to it, would need to kind of forge their own partnerships, some kind of a NATO or some kind of a local arrangement, so that the dependency, the muscle should be there, so that this kind of threats will not be acceptable. I would see this statement by President Trump is not only a threat to Iran, but it's a threat to GCC and the Middle East and probably to us as well.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Danish Qazi. Thank you so much for your valuable time and insights on Pakistan TV.